房子又降价了。
The condo we bought has dropped in price again. It lost $100,000 in 2 years. We bought it in 2023 in the suburbs of Beijing for $300,000. How exciting we felt then, how sad we are now.
有个网友说，
A netizen said that his friend bought a home near Beijing for $160,000 and sold it this year for $34,000. Roughly calculated, including taxes and renovations, it's a reduction of $120,000. The number is not exaggerated. The real estate market, once considered the engine of China's economy, is now declining at a visible rate. This decline isn't a slow cooling, it's more like a sudden avalanche. The same is true for the Beijing real estate market, with housing prices along the Yangding River in Beijing that were originally priced at $140,000 plummeting to almost nothing. The real estate crash swallowed the wealth of countless ordinary families. When houses ceased to be assets but became liabilities, and when housing prices stopped their upward trend and began a freefall, the wealth myth of the middle class was shattered.
在北京500多。
How much has the house I bought for $770,000 in Beijing dropped in value? I hadn't paid attention to the fluctuations in housing prices until recently. When I heard about it in the neighborhood group chat, and I belatedly realized that prices had indeed dropped significantly. We bought this 2-bedroom condo in July 2024 for a total price of $770,000, which is about $8,800 per square meter. We took possession in December of that year, saving about 2 years of waiting time for pre-sale condos. The location is also very convenient, about a 20-minute drive to work, which seemed perfect at the time. The blogger said that after moving in, although she heard that housing prices were falling, she didn't pay much attention at the time. Until someone in the group chat said that the price per square meter had dropped from $8,800 to $7,300. She roughly calculated that her house had shrunk by hundreds of thousands of yuan. At first, she felt a bit down, but she quickly calmed down. She understood that for them, this wasn't an investment, but a genuine need for a place to live. For the next decade or so, their family of 4 would live and grow here. More importantly, this small home is filled with real happiness. Instead of dwelling on numbers they couldn't change, they chose to live well, take care of their family, and look forward with hope.
在北京去年
How much money have we lost on a home bought last May since then? We bought the condo last May in 2025. At that time, house prices had dropped significantly and the price was roughly within our budget. And we found a condo that met our expectations, so we settled on it. From choosing the one to paying the deposit, it only took us a little over a month, which was quite fast. After that, there was a transfer of ownership, doing finishes, buying appliances, moving on, and so on. Finally, we moved into our new home last month. A few days ago, when I checked the news app, I found that the house prices in our neighborhood had dropped by more than 100,000 RMB. The blogger said that it's impossible not to feel bad about such a large price drop. Although everyone says that you don't need to care too much about the rise and fall of house prices when you live in the house, it's still hard to ignore when you see it drop by more than 100,000 RMB. However, he had no choice but to accept reality. Beijing-based financial blogger Anxious Croquet visited the Rhine Valley neighborhood on the banks of the Yangding River in Beijing and revealed the significant drop in local property prices. He pointed out that although the Rhine Valley's location is not bad, property prices have fallen significantly, even fallen below the purchase cost for many owners. One owner who bought a property for $260,000 has seen the price drop by $190,000 recently. That is, a property purchase for $260,000 is now only worth around $70,000. Such a drastic reduction has left many owners facing serious losses. The blogger also mentioned that the price trends in several surrounding neighborhoods are roughly similar, with widespread and significant declines.
我和老公北
This is my husband and I, our 3rd year living in Beijing. Before we got married, with only $44,000 in financial support from both our families, we managed to buy a condo in the Langfang development zone. We made a down payment of $18,000 and bought a 270 square meter penthouse duplex, living a life of hard commuting but comfortable living. The condo was 246 square meters with 2 balconies and a regular square layout. It originally had 5 bedrooms, 4 living rooms, and 4 bathrooms. After renovations, we retained 4 bedrooms and 3 bathrooms, and also added a study, walk-in closet, pet room, relaxation area, and storage. This is in an old building, about 20 years old, and is quite dilapidated, but basic facilities are still available and the landscaping is nice. The blogger said they carpool every morning from the complex entrance, reaching the Shilihe station on Beijing's East 3rd Ring Road in 30 to 50 minutes. Their commute to work takes about 70 minutes, which is quite common in Beijing. Many people find commuting tiring, but actually you can take a nap on the bus or read an ebook on the subway, and over time, you get used to it. The blogger stated that they were no longer bothered by fluctuating property prices and simply enjoy the peace and tranquility they have now.
买的时候140多万。
It was bought for $200,000, now it's down to $44,000, a direct loss of $156,000. My goodness, the owner is crying, and it even came with finishes. Let's go inside and see what it's like. This owner, such a big house, is only selling for $44,000? Yes, only $44,000. It's a pity. Hurry to sell, we only come twice. The neighborhood is quite nice. Where are the residents from? Mostly Beijingers, because it's close to Beijing. It takes a little over an hour by car and about 20 minutes by high-speed rail. That's not far.
90后北漂夫妻
How did a post-90s couple from Beijing buy a condo 4 years after graduation? Many people are curious about how we managed to buy a condo in Beijing 4 years after graduating with our master's degrees. If I told you that Mr. Gong has been carrying the same backpack since university and hasn't changed it even after working for 8 years, you'd probably understand that it's all about being frugal and not spending money recklessly. I wore a $6 t-shirt for 3 years and used the same umbrella for 5 years. Mr. Gong and I both graduated with our master's degrees in 2017. 4 years after graduation, we bought our first home in Beijing with our savings of $140,000. The blogger said that she and her husband are quite frugal and they always save a fixed amount of money as soon as they receive their monthly salary. She usually eats dinner at home after work, which is not only cheaper but also cleaner and more hygienic, while her husband's company provides meals. Neither of them has any bad habits. Her husband neither smokes nor drinks alcohol, and she doesn't chase after designer bags and clothes, only occasionally buying cosmetics. They rarely had large expenses, and by accumulating savings little by little, they could save a considerable amount of money. This homeowner bought a house in Yangzhou, Beijing for $140,000, and now it's selling for $30,000.
这是2018年花了100万买的一套房子。
This is a home I bought in 2018 for $140,000. This is the entrance door, and to the left is the kitchen. The kitchen has gas, but it's not very big. This is the living room. Outside the living room, you can see a shopping mall. The mall is large, but there are very few people. This is the bathroom, and this is the bedroom. I just asked the real estate agent, and the latest selling price is $30,000. This price has been more than halved. It's been slashed to the ankle. I was originally planning to renovate.
直接涨到脚脖子了，本来还想装修的。
在北京
I bought a condo in Beijing less than 3 years ago, and the price has dropped by nearly $300,000. Only now do I truly understand the saying that when a grain of sand of the era falls on an ordinary person's shoulder, you will feel like a mountain. My neighbors are renovating their house recently. They just bought it this year and started renovating immediately. When I got the price, it really is buying 2 years later saves you 20 years of hard work. I'll put the kids' clothes in the water first, then tidy up the living room. These are the toys my kids and their families played with yesterday. Almost all of them are out. Now the kids are at school, I'll tidy up. We knew house prices had dropped, but we didn't expect to drop this much. Our neighborhood's house is 20 square meters smaller than ours. Be it the original budget, we could have bought 2 units and still have some left over. The blogger said that the nearly $300,000 drop in house prices is a glaring number, making them feel particularly heavy-hearted. They are just ordinary workers. Perhaps even after 20 years of hard work, they might not be able to save $300,000. They cried, they were confused, but there's no going back in life. Life goes on, and they can only grit their teeth and move forward. The housing prices in Guan have really plummeted to an unbelievable degree. Today, let's take a look at the 4 neighborhoods in Guan with the most drastic price drops. The price drops are truly frightening. Starting with the 4th one, which is Cambridge County Phase 8, at its peak, it sold for $1,800 per square meter. Now, even at $800, nobody wants them. Hundreds of condos are listed and they're really hard to sell. 3rd place is the Rhine Valley. It's the closest development to Beijing in Guan, separated only by the Yangding River. When it opened, the price was $1,900 per square meter. Now it's $800 per square meter. Despite being so close to Beijing, it's still a flop. 2nd place is Tianshan Garden. In 2018, everyone was scrambling to buy at $2,200 per square meter. Now, even at $700, nobody wants them. The blogger says the top spot on the price drop list is Airport number 1. This project can only be described as outrageous. Back then, a parking space cost $100,000 and the condo price once reached $3,000 per square meter. Now, the price has plummeted to $880 per square meter. In comparison, the price of a condo now is less than the price of a parking space back then, making one marvel at the drastic changes in the market.
春节回老家，
Returning to my hometown for the Chinese New Year, I regretted buying a condo in the county town. Has anyone else had the same experience? This condo was bought at its peak in 2019. At that time, house prices were rising nationwide, and my family thought we should buy one quickly. The upward trend continued, and we didn't know how high the prices would go in the future, so we just went for it. But unexpectedly, we hadn't lived in it much since buying it, and now the prices dropped to $700 per square meter. This means not only has our down payment been wiped out, but even if we sell the property now, it won't be enough to pay off the mortgage.
海天老婆小现在还能买吗？
Is it still worth buying an old, dilapidated condo in Haidian? Do you know how difficult it is to sell old, dilapidated condos in Haidian right now? Just before the Lunar New Year, a homeowner I know in Huangzhuang, Haidian, had listed their old, dilapidated condo for half a year, lowering the asking price from $700,000 to $470,000. Only a dozen or so groups came to view the property over those 6 months, and their first question was always, "Can you lower the price by another $70,000?" This is the current situation for old, dilapidated condos in Haidian. Why is the price of old, dilapidated condos in Haidian falling so drastically? First, before the cooling down of the school district housing market, old, dilapidated condos in Haidian relied on the premium associated with their school district. Now, the overall school district fever has subsided. I don't know if you've noticed, but some of my friends in the internet industry are cutting back on tutoring fees for their children. The blogger points out that another significant drawback of some older communities in Haidian is the poor living experience. Many buildings constructed in the 1970s and 80s lack elevators, proper property management, and often have poorly designed floor plans. These types of properties hold little appeal for young people. As time goes on, the liquidity of these properties will decrease, leading to a situation where it's easy to buy but difficult to sell. Therefore, she advises anyone planning to buy a house in Haidian district to be cautious when considering these older properties.
我们24年在北京
We bought a home in Beijing for $700,000 in 2024, and it's already depreciated by $100,000 in just over a year. Some netizens think that spending $700,000 on such a small condo in Beijing is less worthwhile than going back to our hometown and living a carefree life. Firstly, we didn't have $700,000. We only paid a $300,000 down payment, and the rest was financed through a mortgage. Secondly, we didn't choose to buy a home back in our hometown because we've settled in Beijing and have a lovely baby. As parents, when you have the opportunity to give your child a higher starting point and a better platform, you're likely to want to give it your all. The blogger said that she and her husband both come from rural areas and completed their master's degrees. After graduating, they both chose to earn money by working for internet companies. Initially, they didn't plan to settle in Beijing, but because her husband performed exceptionally well at work, they unexpectedly obtained Beijing residency, which led them to rethink their life plans. Although they once yearned for a free and easy life, their mindset subtly shifted with the arrival of their baby. They now want to give their child the very best. Knowing firsthand the hardships of growing up in a small town, they don't want their child to repeat their past mistakes. They only hope their child can reach a level within their own capabilities and enjoy a more composed and stable life.
你敢相信我23年
Can you believe that the home I bought in Beijing in 2023 has now lost nearly $140,000? In 2023, I was 29 years old, working for a state-owned enterprise, earning $1,400 a month. Seeing that housing prices were showing signs of decline, I emptied my parents' life savings and borrowed a large sum of money from relatives and friends to buy an old, dilapidated condo in Beijing with a loan. Now, just 3 years later, the housing market is volatile and the price has dropped by nearly $140,000. One wrong decision to buy a condo has made me work for nothing for several years. Now, I can only hold on to the idea that if I don't sell, I won't lose money, so I won't sell. What do you think?
两个小夫妻
A young couple, Beijing drifters, bought a home in Beijing and lost nearly $140,000. The friend who borrowed money from us last time bought a condo in 2023. Both husband and wife are graduates of top-tier universities, the 985 project, and work in the internet industry. Their salaries were good, the market was booming at the time, and the neighborhood was nice. They bought the condo for their wedding, it is said, spending $440,000. They had only recently graduated and emptied their savings for the down payment, and now they have to pay $1,400 in mortgage payments every month. The blogger said that after buying the condo, her friend invited her and her husband over and they were all very envious of the couple. Unexpectedly, the housing market later plummeted and the couple estimated their loss at around $140,000. To make matters worse, both of them were laid off. The blogger lamented that living in a big city is truly difficult. Beijing's housing prices have plummeted. Some homeowners have lowered their prices by as much as $130,000 to sell, but still no buyers are interested. They simply can't sell. In this era of soaring listings, home sellers are bound to lose millions of RMB. Houses in first-tier cities are simply impossible to liquidate. I just chatted with a good friend I met while working in Beijing. The home he bought in 2021 has already dropped in value by $440,000. The current economic climate is bad, and making money is extremely difficult. His monthly income can no longer cover his mortgage payments. The pressure is suffocating, and he's been suffering from insomnia. It's been over a year, and his hair is falling out in clumps. Now, the only solution he can think of is to sell the condo. But the property has been listed for 6 months and still hasn't sold. Hopefully, he can overcome this difficulty, and things will get better for him in the future.
以后越来越好吧。
在北京打拼这么多年，
After years of hard work in Beijing, I finally gritted my teeth and bought my own little home. On the day I took possession of the condo, I was overjoyed and brought my child to see it. Standing on the balcony looking out the window, I felt all my hard work had paid off. Who knew that just over 6 months later, I saw a similar unit in the same complex on a real estate exchange group, and the price was $100,000 less than what I paid. That $100,000 represents the money I saved on skincare products, clothes, and the endless hesitation I went through when buying toys for my child.
反复犹豫的纠结。
That's all for today. If you enjoy our content, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, leave a comment, or share it with a friend. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you next time.